Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Beebug from Sarah Fowler. Now, this is a neat tangle. I was just kind of nosing around as I do, just trying to see what will just, jump out at me to do. And this one I thought was really cute. So I thought, well, we have to take a look at this one. All right, so this could be done as a line tangle, so essentially going in a line, and you could use that for your border. You could use that as a string line. So if you say you've drawn your string and maybe you want to make it a little wider, and you could incorporate this as a string, up to you. Or you could also use it as a fill-in, so I'll show you that as well. So the initial pattern is we're going to say however you're going to use it. I'll make it a little bit curvy. It doesn't have to be. So this is the initial step. So however you're going to use it, if it's a border, then you're going to work within two lines. Now, the next step is kind of a squiggly line or a continuous S shape, however you want to think about it. But we don't want to touch either of these lines. We want to come a little bit away from it because we're adding these little orbs as they go. So I'm drawing it this way. I don't know if that's helping me or not, honestly. Well, it just ends up interesting, and that's always good. I was drawing it going this way, and I wasn't happy with that either. And I tried it on one not too long ago, and I'm like, let's just do it this way, and it seemed to work. But all right. So in her step out, oh, and by the way, in the description section, I will have my step out as well as a link to the tanglepatterns.com page where this is, so that way you can see her work and her step out. Now, one thing I noticed is, and it doesn't seem to matter, I think it has to do with how wide this is, because some places, so what we're going to do is in the well, it'll be the peaks and the valleys, and depending on which way you're looking at it. So here, I'm going to start down here. We're just going to put some orbs. And I like to start at the center and then work my way out either way. Now, my guess is the decision on the 3 or 4 is how much space you have. And I'm kind of, making them fit the space. I'm going to flip it over and see, like this one, that turned out really weird. I think we could probably fit more, maybe, just because. Oh yeah, let's do one right over here. And I think that would look good. So that's another reason it's nice to start in the center and then work to either side. That way it kind of stays centered and you can decide how you want to go from there. All right. Yeah, just like that. And that's essentially it. So, but you can add some shading and you could decorate if you want. So in hers, let's see, I kind of like both. So she did some that had like a fill-in little space, and some that had, you could just do an extra little orb in some of them if you want. Oh, let's be consistent here. So I'll do little dots up at the top. Let's see if I can get little swoosh, because some of these are little tiny. Wow. Whoops. And let's see, I was going to look at something else. I don't remember what it was. Now, so that could be the fun that you could have. Interestingly, depending on if you read or not, I do like sometimes Linda Farmer of tanglepatterns.com will put in the story behind, and it says the name, she had been, I don't think she's a CZT, but because it doesn't list her as one, but it says that Sarah writes, "This is a pattern I've had around for a while. The name came up from a CZT who thought it looked like lots of baby buggies, hence Beebug." So that's just really cute. And then too, so then you get the idea of wheels. This looks like, depends on what context you want to put it in, because that could kind of look like eyeballs. So if you were doing it just in a row like this, this is how she did do some shading in her step out, which I always think is nice. If they added. And she kind of added some graphite all the way around. And did she do it on both? Oh, kind of, yeah. I mean, I think it was more like this and not around the top. So around the edges, and then just bringing it in a little bit. And then this would make, of course, this center section just kind of pop out kind of like a ribbon. I'm just going to ignore that I put some graphite there. All right. But that's something, too, that you can play with however you see fit. You know, if you want to add... Let's see. Oh, see, that looks neat. And it's neat because the shading is kind of alternating, so it gives it a really neat, some neat motion. There we go. All right, now I did pre-do one with in a ribbon, or in a fill-in, I mean. So this would be like a ribbon tile, right? Or liner border, whatever phrase that you prefer. And then this, all I did was, you know, add a line here, and then add the squiggle, you know, add a line underneath it, so you could make this like a fill-in. Now, this I thought was neat, because the example she showed with this was putting some graphite kind of like down the, feeling like it's like it's a slide. I'm feeling like it's like a roller coaster or something. Or an amusement park ride. Alright, so let's just do this. So I just picked one side and stayed consistent, but I do want to change my angle of my tile as I'm using the tortillon, because I don't want to go over it. I want to just keep it in this one section. And this is just another way to add some shading to it if you want. All right. See, that just adds some neat motion to it. And then too, you know, you could fill in either leaving the little orbs as they are or adding a little something in between. Either way, that just looks really neat. And it's one of those. I think I'm still kind of stuck. Oh, I wanted to check something. Oh, no, she didn't. Okay. In the whimsical realm, and you know, here's what I want to look at. All right, so we see how this is right now. You know, let me just play with this one. So whenever we do orbs, generally we fill in these little gaps. And because there's a line on either side, I just want to try it, since we kind of saw what it looked like without. And well, some of these little ones, it's just almost just putting your pen down and letting the ink soak in the paper for a minute. And just on those inside ones. That adds a little something, I think. And it's just, you know, it's like right here. Let's just add some on. So that's a little something extra. She doesn't have that in hers, but this is something that you can feel free to do, because I really think, let's see, looking in, see, it just adds that little something extra. And then too, like here where I've not quite gone to the line, I mean, you could, you know, add in some underneath like that, just to fill in. I'm like, heck, we'll just do all of them, because I want to see the difference. And like I said, usually when we do orbs, like in Tipple, that's what we do, is we fill in these little sections. It is a little bit tedious, but then at the same time, the reason a lot of times we do Zentangle is to relax and throw our focus on something else. So adding, you know, this little bit of oops, there we go. I knew I was missing something. This little extra finishing touch. It's just nice. Yes, I like that. All right, so you can do that or not do that. That's up to you. But I think it just kind of adds for a nice little finishing touch. and it's super cool. All right, so with that, I hope you enjoyed this tangle, and if you did, and you're not subscribed yet to the channel, would love to have you subscribe. Would also, love to have a thumbs up. Those are always nice. And let's see, what else? If you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell next to the subscription button, so that way you can decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all. And then also in the description box down below the links, there are more links for ways to connect with me. Now, I do some free classes and some paid classes. Would love to have you join us. If you go to my website, tangleaddicts.com, and click on classes, I keep the current links. You might have to scroll down a bit. I'm still, the site is just perpetual under, always working on it, one way or the other. And but under classes, I have the current links for the free classes. Also, somewhere in there are ways that if you want to follow, so it's either Facebook or Eventbrite or Meetup. If you're on any of those platforms, you can follow me, so that way you get a notice when I put up new classes. And especially it's the paid ones, or I do an occasional Tuesday class that's sometimes free. But that way you get notice of the extra classes besides the regular Thursday ones. So anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed this. I sure enjoyed sharing it, and I wish you lots of happy tangling.